Start recording. Okay, I'm going to start by sharing my own screen. This is just a couple of us. I'm Andrea Joy. I am the action team leader of the Earth-Based Spiritual Action Team Assistant Climate Lobby. And I'm going to actually be presenting today. What I wanted to do is I want to give my perspective. This is going to be my perspective, so just keep that in mind of what's going on at Citizen Climate Lobby and how it affects our work. So, a lot of people, everybody participates at the level that they can. Everybody has a different amount of time. So, some of us are more active, doing, as everybody knows, I really do believe every action counts. I really do. But some people just have more time or more interest. And it's not that one's better than the other. It's just where are we putting our energy? But I wanted to give you my perspective since I am the action team leader and I go to a lot of the meetings that other people might not. And just give you a little basis of what my perception is going on with, Citizen Climate Lobby. So, okay, so here's what we're going to cover. Like I said, primarily I want to talk about what my perception is going on in Citizen Climate Lobby, given the current realities, especially how it goes and affects our team. We are a faith action team. That's how we're part of Citizen Climate Lobby. This part I love. I'm really excited to tell people about these particular updates. I also want to give an inner looking into Citizen Climate Lobby that some people might know and some people might not. So this is one of the teams that deals with policy, and I thought it was fascinating and thought people might just like that look at some other things in Citizen Climate Lobby that they may or may not have been able to explore. But hey, since I have you here, I want feedback on something that I'm always trying to add new assets, new things that we can use. One of the things I'm responsible for is I try to get speakers for people. So how can I engage with speakers and make them excited to want to come and share their time? That's always something I'm kind of asking myself. And then I want to remind people, you get to decide how active you are. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So that's what we're going to go over today. So first of all, shouldn't be a big surprise that given the current climate, our political climate, Citizen Climate Lobby was impacted. I'm going to be frank, honest. I'm one of those people, I'm pretty transparent. So what did that involve? That meant they had a reorganization. And this happened, some people left, people who, remember, there are people who've been doing this stuff for like 20 or, just so many years. And some of them decided for whatever reason, I don't know, they didn't tell me, so I can't guess, they decided to leave. They also there's less money involved than we used to have. That does not mean that the organization is not effective. It is. It's a shift. My own perspective is just like a lot of things when these happens, the organization themselves is still in the midst of figuring out exactly what this means, because that's what happens. I worked in big business. I saw this happen all the time. Something happens, you stick to your core, you remember your core, but there's a lot of figuring out, okay, exactly now, what do we want to do? And that's what I've been seeing. So, again, we all know, I don't have to tell people what's going on. Everybody's aware. So, Citizen Climate Lobby in a different universe, okay, not a different universe, but a different time, was basically really, really active in trying to get the best science-based thing out there, which is, carbon tax and dividend. Lots of studies showed it was super effective. And we made amazing strides. We were really instrumental in some of the things that got pushed out underneath, the last administration before the one we have now. Well, things have changed. And as we all know, a lot of that stuff is getting gutted for one reason or another. So being smart, Citizen Climate Lobby really is trying to do their best. Saving something is better than saving nothing. Really, if you can save one day at our program, it's better than seeing all that work unravel. So there's been a lot of trying to talk with conservatives. But yes, there are conservatives. There really are in Citizen Climate Lobby. It really does try to be a nonpartisan group. It really does. And there are people who are conservatives that are they really exist. And the other thing that a lot of us are talking about, because we know that in this climate, in this political climate, where we can make the biggest difference is local. Local, local, local. Seriously. And yes, citizen climate lobby is going to continue to lobby at the federal level. We're going to keep doing all that stuff because we don't want to give up. Because you give up, you've lost. And we can make changes. And a lot of times you don't even see them. One of the things I've learned about having an insider look is there's a lot of things you never see on the news that get saved. So it's still effective. None of us are excited or happy or thinking this is the best scenario we could have got, but we do with what we got, and we're going to make it as good as we can because the climate and the earth still matter. So again, we're an action team. I am really excited about this part. One of the things that happened because of the shakeup, there's a lot of good that can happen, and I'll talk about the person that's in charge of this, is if you've ever gone into Citizen Climate Lobby and you're familiar with their pages, it can be really kind of hard to find out where the darn what are the action teams? It's not the easiest to navigate. I know I was a usability designer I got paid six figures as a usability designer. So it's not the easiest site to navigate. We all may do. But we now at least have this one page. So on the screen, there is this URL, and later on, I'll put this in the forum. So, you don't have to take notes. So there is now a landing page that lists every faith-based one, and we're right there. And something, I want to say something. We are taken seriously. Indeed, sometimes we don't take ourselves enough seriously. I'm going to just say it. But we are listened to in this meeting. We really are. I speak. I'm not the only person who speaks. Somebody who can't normally be here but is really active sometimes speaks. We are listened to just like everybody else. So I really wanted to make that impact. People don't necessarily think that, because let's face it, we're not exactly mainstream, are we? They think that we're not listened, but CCL does an amazing job of allowing our voice to be heard. So love this person. I'm going to talk about the person who's making this really all work. I'm very bad at pronouncing names, so don't take my pronunciation, please. I'm going to do my best. It's Karana Ramazira. I'm sure that's wrong, but she is the vice president of people and culture. She's really into diversity. She's very frankly honest that she is not happy with citizens climate lobbies, DEI also. But, she knows that she's going to make the most impact by working on this stuff. So she's a paid position, because there are some of those in CCL. Her pronouns, I love it. She, her, Ella. Well, where does Ella come from? It comes from her culture. She lives in Maui. So I love this. I love her. She's just awesome. She has a really deep background in this diversity. She had one-on-ones with every single, action team leader, including myself. We had a really good frank talk. And we really the thing that she really is big into, which just made me so happy, is that she gets that we understand our communities. And she doesn't feel like she's going to micromanage us. She gets that the Catholics understand theirs, the youths understand theirs. I'm probably, being that I'm in this community, have a better idea of my communities than she does. So she's very work with me, hands off, certainly encouraging us to do CCL stuff. I mean, CCL wants us to do stuff for CCL because it's a great organization. She really facilitates. She is doing such a great job. I'm so impressed with her. So one of the things she's doing is every month she's having us action team leaders get together. And there's some reasons for doing this, which probably you could probably guess. First of all, build relationships. Seriously, it's interfaith work. Fortunately, a little bit about me, I do interfaith work. So this is just really, more of, I've done a lot of interfaith work for years now. this is another kind of interfaith work. I mean, really, it is. So having that interfaith background, I think, gives me a position that, I can come in and say things when it's appropriate, but not be the I'm the wounded pagan, because that's not a good look and it doesn't help us. She's really setting us. I got the cute graphic. It's setting up us for success. What do we do? Well, we have a group again, action team leaders. We're all volunteers, so we show up when we can, and then, you show you can. And what we're sharing, we're sharing our goals, and sometimes they're big goals. I mean, the Catholics have a large organization; they can reach people. There is some good to being a large, religious organization. The Catholics get lots of people in their pews. It's pretty easy for them to reach their community versus us where we have communities. And as anybody in our communities knows, finding us can be a whole other adventure. I know. But they want to work on policy. So they're very much into using things that are consistent with their world faith. And they really want to work on policy and they're really motivated. And that's great. I don't care, really. I'm rooting for them, obviously. We should care. Anybody that helps us move forward, yay. Member engagement, getting your members to engage, to care. And everybody does that. Everybody from me to the Unitarian Universalists. We're not the only people. The UUs and us are probably the ones that are the closest because we both have communities. Anybody that I'm going to assume people know about UU, but if you don't, just really briefly, they're actually have evolved. They started out Christian, but they've evolved kind of into this they have the principles, and they have everybody from atheists to pagans to you name it, that they engage. Really great people. And some groups, it's very local things that you like. We're just sharing, hey, we went out and planted trees because that, again, it makes a difference and it's inspiring. So a lot of this is inspire, get ideas, keep us, because we as action team leaders need to be kept motivated too. So the other thing we change is our challenges. What's really fascinating to me is, guess what? Our challenges are not unique. I hate to tell you, but we're not the only people who have lost a lot of people. A lot of people are going through, people in almost every denomination are going through a lot of the same challenges we have. Aging populations, the same thing. I hear it from all of them. Some that's starting to change a little bit, but it's still there. And let's share strategies. So, this is not do this. This is what's worked for us. Now, obviously, what's working for our colleagues in the church, get people in pews, is not going to work for us. We don't have the equivalent of that, but there are still strategies they use that do. Like, hey, let's do a service based on our worldview that will energize our people. That's something that applies to us. Okay, so that's about the faith thing. Next thing I'm going to talk about is a little bit of that behind the scenes. I'm just keeping a look on the time. Inner workings of CCL. And I really hope to have some time afterwards, even if it's just me and the nice person that showed up. But this is a little bit of a behind the scenes people might or might not know about. In addition, there are a lot of subdivisions in CCL if you haven't had time to look around. You really, I mean, if this is the thing you want to put in, your whole life into, you can, and that's great. And if you just want to be, as you know, CCL also makes it really easy if all you got is 5 minutes. I love this about the organization. It's scalable. You got 5 minutes, push the darn button that says contact my representative. You got more time? Yay. So one of the things that they have is they've got these groups that are policy teams. Now, it's interesting. It's actually kind of two groups that work in parallel. One group is the policy team, and then they've got an affiliation team. And why do they have that separate? Because they want the policy team to be made of experts. But anybody can do an affiliation. So if you're not, and I'm going to go through some examples of these, this policy team is setting policy for their whole purpose is to try to help CCL set policy. So they have a whole bunch of sub teams that are experts in certain things. So left of center. This has to do with political and people who consider themselves, left to center. Let's get them all together because let's not waste time trying to convince each other that we're wrong. It's never going to get us anywhere. Instead, let's just, we're left to center. We can all talk. Let's go dive in and do something. Health, doctors, nurses. We rather than talking about we have a shared language, we have a shared experience. We're doctors and nurses. No matter what else, we can jump in. It doesn't matter. I could be conservative, I can be right, I can be left, I can be up, I can be down, I can be somewhere in between. I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse. I have a shared experience and an expertise, and I have obviously a reason to want to be in CCL, so I believe that the climate is affecting my people, and we can start with there. So you get the idea. I'm not going to go through this depth. You got the idea. There's conservatives, and there is conservation, which is things like hunting and sport fishes and outdoor spaces. Believe it or not, the oil industry. Now, I can already see the what? Why is the oil industry involved? Well, because they're not stupid. I worked again. I worked in a Fortune 500 company, and companies care about making money. And the smart oil companies, the smart ones, understand that at some point fossil fuel is going to be not making them money. The cost of refining, the cost of getting it out is going to affect their bottom line. Yeah. So the smart ones are getting in on the ground floor of conservation because if you're a smart business person, you're looking for that extra opportunity and you want to be ahead of the curve. So, something? I'll take it. Orange services, renewables, geothermal forestry. A lot of those, I think you would understand. And again, in order to be one of those, you have to be vetted. So you have to prove I really am in the oil industry. I really did serve in the military. But if you're interested in one of these and you care about policy and you're not like a nurse or a doctor or in the armed services, there's an affiliation group with them too. So kind of a structure that works side by side. So I love this. I thought this was really cool. Okay, so again, I know people have heard me talk about this, but I just wanted to give people some of my thoughts about how active you can be. And I've already kind of given a little bit of this, where I said that, you get to decide because I know I'm busy. Trust me, I'm a busy person. The joke around my house is my husband gets to see me. It's not true. I make time for my husband, but it's a joke. We joke a lot. But that's again, I love CCL because they're scalable. You got a little bit of time. I already said CCL gives you what to mail your representatives. I mean, it can't be easier, really. Push a darn button. I encourage you to actually change the words just a little tiny bit to make it, but it's okay. You don't have time for that? Push the damn button. If that's all you got time for, you're still making a difference because they track this stuff because they want it because we're a weird system in which people need to be reelected. And if they get enough people saying, hey, this is important, then, they want to keep their jobs. So they pay attention. You can tell people tell your friends about CCL that you think would be interested. Just let them know. Let them know about our group. Let them know they're welcome to come, even if they don't join CCL. Just let them know. That's a big thing because the more people that know, a certain percentage are going to be moved to join us. And so now that's like the littlest amount of time. It doesn't take long to say, hey, I'm involved with this, and then see what your friend does. And if your friend looks like bored, then maybe, or if you know your friend, you might even know not to bring this up. Or if you know your friend, this is their jam, they just haven't found the organization. Great, Got more time? Cool. You can get training, and I think this is awesome. Free training, and this is world-class training. And a lot of things you learn in CCL are going to apply to other parts of your life. If you do anything where you're trying to influence people, they have so much good training, and it's all free. It takes time. Uh, Represent CCL at an in-person event. Hands down, still the most effective thing is to show up at your representative in person. I've gotten that from insiders who work at Washington, D.C., and every single one of them told me the same thing. Everything else helps, and it really does. And I'm not minimizing it, but there's still nothing like being a body. And CCL, we're going to be respectful. We're trying to work with people, be respectful, but speak our piece. Uh, you can join other action teams besides ours. I'm not going to be jealous. I leave jealousy for other worldviews, just like I leave other, like guilt. I figured that guilt and jealousy we will leave for other people, which is not the same as, respecting people's boundaries. That we do. But go ahead and join other CCL groups. There's a lot of amazing groups out there. There just is. I have plenty of time, or this is just something I like doing. Write. Good old fashioned writing. Still effective. Write your newspaper. Write your local, especially local. Write, 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 write. One of the most effective things people can do, form a personal relationship with a representative. If you somehow get some way to form that, you can literally change so much. One of the things I got to do early when I was starting to do this is I got to talk to my representative. And it's not that we saw eye to eye, but my respect for Susan went through the roof because I got to talk to her and say, I get those concerns. Let me get back to you. And do we agree on everything? Of course not. Find me two people that agree on everything, and I will be scared because they're not thinking. I really think it's not healthy for people to agree on every damn thing. But I respect her. She is so bright. And I have a relationship with her so that when I write, maybe she still remembers that first time. Maybe she doesn't. Obviously, if you're seeing them a lot and you're lucky enough to get that kind of relationship, can be life changing. I already mentioned this one, but I'm going to mention it again. Lobby in person because I can't say it enough. I'm fully in. I am really, this is my heart passion. This is the thing that drives me every day to get up, get going, and get doing things. It gives me joy. It gives me purpose. Develop strategies. That takes a lot of time. These things, strategies take a lot of time. Attend in-person conventions. Now, that one, that's not as much as it takes time as it can take a lot of money. To fly to DC to lobby is not, everybody can't do that. I know there's a lot of people who just can't afford it, just can't, and that's okay. Um, they also have virtual ones. Feel free to do the virtuals. But if you can do an in-person, you've got the money and you've got willing to do the time, you're going to make a big difference. So these, you can say this, you get, I like, if being a geek, I have to say, choose your own adventure. Because this really is, it's what works for you. And they've got all these great choices. So this is the feedback, and since you're the only person, you can just tell me one of the things I'm doing right now. This you're going to peek into what Andrea does. Um, I've been thinking about, okay, one of the things I'm trying to get to do is speakers. I'm always looking for speakers to help to get us a bunch of different perspectives, so that one of those things, or maybe every single one of them, is going to inspire us. I know I'm always inspired by the speakers. Really, I am. They're all amazing people in my mind. And just listening to them helps me keep doing what I'm doing. Maybe I can't do it with them. I kill cactus. I am not doing permaculture. I'm just gonna say it because if I try permaculture, every damn plant's going to die. But I can still be inspired by it, and it can still say, okay, maybe I can't do that, but I can do this part so that they can do the permaculture. Or maybe I can send the seeds to one of my local friends who's actually good at this stuff, which is what I do. But one of the things I've thought about is, hey, I've been doing memes, and over time, I've evolved a style for CCL. By the way, this is not in stone. if you want to send me something that doesn't look anything like this, cool. I'm always open. I do not, I'm not, in true pagan fashion, I don't own you. I don't tell you what to do. I want to empower you. You can use this or not. Obviously, it's got to be appropriate, but feel free to make your own, but it's got to be social media ready. And for us specifically, that is Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Because really, demographics. I'm just gonna say. So this is the latest I thought. Well, I've been making these memes. I call these my duh moments. Why don't I make a meme that I can send around to speakers? Duh. So this is I really finished this like 2 minutes beforehand. So one of the things I'm looking for is, can you read it? Does it make sense? What does not make sense on here? So when we're done, I'll go back to this, but I want to just get through this. Hey, we're doing really good on time. And again, I said how, so again, I was talking about you get to decide, tell one person, one. That's all I ask, one. Tell one person about EBSIT. We have communities, finding them could be a whole rabbit hole. It's easier now. When I was a young pagan, seriously, finding people was almost impossible. The only reason I found my teacher is because I just happened to live in California. Seriously, this was before the damn internet. I'm that old. There was not even good books back when I started. So really, if you didn't know somebody in person, you just forget it. Or we're writing to England. I mean, we're talking, I'm an old dinosaur, you know. But nowadays, just tell your community, put it out in their social media or talk whatever you're comfortable with. Like I said, I always share whoever I share every month, I put out a social media ready thing for the speaker. Share that. I try to make things as easy. Oh, yeah, usability design. I'm going to try to make things as easy as possible. So, you want to do more? You can send, here's my personal email address because I don't care. I'm just not afraid. I know too much about IT. I already know that it's already all out there, and trying to protect ourselves from not being out there is just silly. It's already out there. And it's, by the way, nobody cares. It takes too much money for them to come after me or you. It takes, I know, trust me, I have friends in cybersecurity. It takes a lot of money. So I'm not that worried about having I protect the things I care about, like my bank accounts, but I don't care. Uh, we have a Facebook page, share that. We have an Instagram page, share that. We have the YouTube page, share that. And like I said, I really always love suggestions. I'm one person. No one person can think of everything. I don't care who you are. So I really value your ideas, and I really thank everybody for their time. And with that, I'm going to stop the slideshow, and I'm going to get back here, and I'm going to stop recording.